All right, we're back. We took a quick break, our halfway through break, almost halfway through. And we are talking about Drig Drishya Viveka, the difference between the seer and the seen, which it started out talking about the difference between the seer and the seen, but we've reached the point where we have realized that there actually is no difference between the seer and the seen. There's only seeing. So in the language of this text, there is only awareness. There is no aware of and person being aware. Those are concepts created by thoughts. There is actually only awareness itself. So, let's hit verse 20. Every object is composed of elements. These elements appear to exist as separate phenomenal aspects, but in reality are not separate from their home ground, which is awareness. Okay, and I'm skipping the latter half of this verse, mainly because this is an ancient text, so they only believe there to be 5 elements, and he's actually going through them. Um, in modern age, we actually now know there are more elements, and there is absolutely it's redundant. There is no need for us to go through each element and and explain how they exist as separate phenomenal aspects. Okay, all you need to know from this verse is objects are composed of elements. The elements make things appear as separate and different. Yet everything which come together to form everything animate and inanimate, nature, animals, humans, and even the gods themselves, arise in and are not separate from awareness. Everything, your concept of God itself, upon inspection, is just a concept that arises in your awareness, or in awareness. You can't even say your awareness, because we've already proved who the concept of you yourself are a concept. There is only awareness. Everything else is conceptual, created by this power to create something out of nothing. Name and form are merely concepts. That's what we're talking about. And by name and form, this comes up in Buddhist talks too, and it's overused. Uh, Concepts. Concepts are concepts. I mean, we have no doubt on what a concept is at this point. So, tablet, this rectangular thing itself in a red case, these are all concepts attributed by my mind. And it goes further to name it as tablet. Now, they're merely concepts. They're thoughts. Nothing more, actually. Once you, everything, even, my mind can trick me and say, oh, but it feels so real. But the notion of feeling itself and what I'm feeling is thought. The notion of what I am feeling, that I am feeling something, is also a thought. It's all just thoughts that come and go within awareness. But it's not a bad thing, even though it's the cause of all suffering, but it's still not bad. There actually is no suffering, and we'll get to that. But they can serve as pointers back to the awareness in which they arise. You can use everything you experience to your benefit. And this is where this text almost flicks on the switch to enlightenment. I mean, it is so efficient, and it's now giving you easy, efficient, practical methods for enlightenment to just come on. It's great. There's no need. I mean, it helps, But the way he's going to go through this is you don't have to sit and meditate. You don't have to fast. You actually don't have to be a vegetarian and do all the millions of things that help facilitate the ability to come to this understanding. But if you can do it without those things, you can. And he's showing you how, right? So, everything we're perceiving, name and form. Again, let's go with vision, since that's the focus he likes to go with. Anything you see can serve as a pointer back to the awareness in which they arise. When awareness recognized and awakens to itself, there is uninterrupted abiding as awareness, even as name and form continue to arise. So, here's an example I like to use. When we're little, or even ancient man, saw the sun rise and the sun set, we actually see a sun come up and go down and go away. Once we as people learned that that's not actually happening, we are now aware that there are planets orbiting a star. And the sunrise and the sun setting is really just the rotation of our planet and its relative position to the sun. We know that when the sun sets, the sun is not actually gone anywhere. We still use the terms sunrise and sunset. We still see the sun appear and the sun disappear. But once we know that it actually hasn't gone anywhere, there's no reason to freak out when it's nighttime and start to do a bunch of superstitious prayers and dances in the hopes that the sun's going to come back the next day. There's no reason to create a mythology of the sun, where it goes, and try to figure out where it goes. It hasn't gone anywhere. Once we know this, we still experience sunrise and sunset. It appears and disappears. But we know what's really going on, so it doesn't matter. In the same way, once we realize there is only awareness and everything is the result of our own superimposition or projection or story creating power, there's no reason to do any superstitious activities to quote unquote get what we want. And what we thought were real now becomes superstitions. This whole concept of, man, I've got to work hard and make as much money as possible so I can have more money than the next guy. And when I lose money, I'm upset because that money is now gone, and that money is a serious object that I'd have to use to buy things to make myself happy. And I'm in love with that girl, and I need to have that girl because I'll be complete without her, and I need to start a family, and I want this, and I love that, and I love this food. Therefore, I want to eat this food, but I need to lose weight because I eat too much food. All of that is superstition. Even the core tenets of society of you need to work so you can live a luxurious, comfortable life, and you need to worry about the next election because this presidential candidate versus the other presidential candidate could possibly harm you with their legislation. It all becomes superstition once you realize that